really doesn't matter what you put in a horse's mouth as far as bits go and how you adjust them. If a rider does not have a sensitive, educated hand, you're going to make a mess of things. So the more important thing is that the rider develops a sensitive, educated hand. With a forward riding arm, I can't tell you how important this is. Yesterday you told me that Charlotte Dujardin is someone that you would really emulate. She has a very forward riding hand. She does not pull back on her horses, and it's very important that you learn to ride with the elbow in front of the rib cage, not pulled back on the rib cage, with the whole arm giving to the mouth, and then finding the ability to elevate your rib cage within that within that soft arm. I'll show you from the side here. Soft arms, elevated rib cage. Do not pull your shoulder blades together. It will only make you stiff, and it'll separate your hands, creates all kinds of problems. This already looks really good, by the way. Now keep your fingers closed on the rein. You want to keep the fingers closed. The softness and the sensitivity of the hand and the arm come from relaxation of the arm muscles. The upper arm muscles, around the elbow, the lower arm, the wrist, everything has to be elastic and toward the mouth. Very good. Look at your walk. That's very good. This is a point you have to get to with the mare also. She has to be, because he's walking completely unfettered at the moment. He's like, okay, I'm on the bridle, I'm accepting the bit, the rider's not interfering with me, I like her hand, therefore I'm not shoulder bound, I'm not stiff in my shoulders, I'm just flowing forward, which is the way the walk should always look. Very nice. When you get down to around by F, change rein on the diagonal, just keep walking for another minute. So consequently, when I'm training horses, I'm very slow to experiment with bits. If I get a horse in that is what I call a corrective case, and I know that he needs his contact corrected, I'm going to spend a lot of time riding that horse from behind to my hand. Unless he really protests to the bit or bits I put in his mouth, I'm probably not going to change it until I figure some things out with him. And then I might say, okay, well, let's put a different bit in and see if I immediately have a better feeling. And if I do, I'll stick with that bit for a while. But more often than not, I'm trying to change things through good riding than through changing the bits. Now, it's a little different when you show up at a clinic, because I would say 9 out of 10 riders that I see at the clinic need an adjustment on the bridle. Probably no one's ever told them how to adjust the bridle properly. And that happens a lot with doubles, but I see it just as often with snapples, that the noseband is too low or too loose or whatever. When you get to the point where you're putting double bittage in a horse's mouth, your noseband has to be adjusted properly. Otherwise, you're going to create all kinds of resistance problems with the horse's mouth. So more often than not, a snugger noseband is better than a looser one, and I am not talking tight and cutting off circulation and this kind of thing. Don't even go there with me. I'm talking a snug noseband where the horse feels like, okay, I can't open my mouth enough to get my tongue over the bit, so I'll find a way to get my tongue comfortable with the bit. If you allow a horse to completely open his mouth on a double bridle, he'll do whatever he wants with his tongue. And it will scare him, because he'll get his tongue in the wrong position a lot. And you find a lot of horses get incredibly defensive when the noseband is left too loose. I am loving this walk, Nadia. If the trot and canter go like this, I'm going to retire. Wonderful. Keep those hands together. Really ride with your arm. And you can feel it already today. I'm sure that when you ride with your hand toward his mouth, he just goes to the bit, which is the whole beginning premise of contact and dressage. You want the horse reaching and searching for the bit all the time. So then it follows, wherever the rider places the bit is where the horse should search for it. If the rider puts the bit down, he should search for the bit down. If the rider puts the bit up, he should search for the bit upward. What does he search with? His hind legs. In the end, that's what we really try to establish. Okay, whenever you're ready, warm him up in rising trot and focus on those hands. Don't separate them. If 2 or 3 months from now y'all find yourselves in a situation where you go, damn, I can't remember what she was saying about the double bridle and how it should fit. If you go to dressagetrainingonline.com, I have, 60 videos on there, And one of them is specifically about fitting double bridles. Contains all the information you need to know. So if you need to look it up, that's a good resource. It's a super library that lady has on her site. See if you can get your hands to touch each other. Keep your chest elevated, especially in the moment that you sit, Nadia, which would be now, 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 now. You want your chest elevated in the moment that you sit. There you go. Very good. Carry your hands a little more lightly. When he does that, ignore it, because your bridle is adjusted correctly now. Let him correct himself, but don't touch him with the whip or do anything in that moment. You just let him correct himself, which is the beauty of a well-fitted double bridle. The horse can correct himself against it, and he learns from that. Excellent. Slow down just a hair. Just relax. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. He's found newfound inspiration here. And change rein across the diagonal. Remember what we said yesterday about where to look. You train your eyes on the point you want to ride to and let him follow your eyes. He will. All horses have the ability to do that. Carry your hands up and together. Think saddle seat. Change rein on the diagonal again. Let him follow your eyes, and you can take your hands slightly in the direction you want to go. Very good. Very, very good. Then ride a 20-meter circle at A. Same concept. You want him to follow your eyes, so you look ahead of him to the 4 points of the 20-meter circle. The first point is at A. Now comes one on the wall between F and B. Now comes one on the center line. Now comes a point on the wall between K and V. Now comes a point on the wall at A. You train your eyes on those points, he will go to them. Because horses are incredibly rideable. Hands up and together, hands up and together. Don't get wide on me. This is one of the reasons I'm standing outside the arena. I can see it better when you separate your hands. Ha-ha, I'm watching you. Now change rein, cross the diagonal. Don't separate your hands. Yeah, good. Very good. Think of carrying the bits lightly and softly in his mouth. Ride a 20-meter circle at A. Think ahead. Find the 4 points to which you want to ride. Ride to those points. Look for them. Ah. Horses are made to follow small cues from our skeletons. Our skeletons fit on a horse perfectly when we're balanced as riders. When we change our head position, when we change the position of a seat bone, when we put a leg on, that gives the horse a clue as to where you want to go and what you want to do. So the smaller and more imperceptible your aids that you can get the horse to follow, the better. It makes you a fine rider. Slow down just a hair. That's a thought. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. He just started to rush a little bit. So now ride a serpentine in 3 loops, A to C. Hands up and together, touching each other. Pay attention to your body. Look where you want to go. Let him follow your eyes. Left leg a little bit, left leg a little bit. Let's do that serpentine one more time. So you know already from having ridden it once that your change of bend to the left is a little more difficult than to the right. So what would you do? You'd start with your left leg a little bit now, saying, hey, leg yield over away from me. You got it. And that helped you change the bend. Very good. Now you start with your right leg and say, hey, leg yield a little bit away from me. Move your ribs away from the right boot. Very good. Carry your hands. Do the serpentine one more time. So you are changing the bend through the center of his body, not with the reins. His neck is staying the same, but you're changing the bend in his rib cage. Why? Because you're a dressage rider, not a jumping rider. Excellent. Hands up and together. Good jumping riders do this too. I shouldn't make fun of them. They also make a lot more money than we do. Something to be said for that. And 20-meter circle. Keep your hands up and together. Very good ride you're having today. I'm liking it. He's liking it. Really, really quiet with your